To give a brief few words, she is straightforward, honest.
Recording in progress.
Namaste and a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi to everyone, especially in the states that celebrate it like Maharashtra does with huge enthusiasm, especially this year after Corona. Everybody was just waiting to welcome Ganeshji to their houses. So with that, we begin with today's sixth episode of our Extraordinary series featuring Dr. Sumita Agarkar. She's our guest for tonight and one of the most lovable persons I've met. I don't know how we came to know each other really. I think I heard her in some conference speaking on my favorite subject, that is strabismus. And I just liked the way she spoke. She was so knowledgeable, and I was very impressed. So then I got to know her slightly more, and gradually I think now I can say, shall I say we are friends, Sumita?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so first of all, let me introduce her to you. Mitali, can we have her CV, please?
Yes, ma'am. Just
So she has done her MBBS from MGM Medical College in MP and internship also from there. And she's done her MS from Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, Raipur, and fellowship in pediatric ophthalmology and adult strabismus from Arvind. So you can imagine how good she is. Right now, she is the Deputy Director, Department of Pediatric Ophthalmology in Shankar Netralaya. She was the Joint Secretary of SPOSI, that is the Strabismological and Pediatric Ophthalmology Society of India. She was lead ophthalmologist for the Orbis REACH project from 2016, and she was member of the Administrative Committee, Medical Research Foundation, Shankar Netralaya, and member of the Myopia Consensus Group, whose results have recently been sent out to everyone. She's got a number of papers to her credit. She's faculty almost everywhere that I know of in pediatric ophthalmology, and I think we'll hear the rest of it from her directly instead of me reading out her CV, because she's a very interesting person. So let's hear it from her. Thank you, Mitali, for that.
thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for such a kind kind and a slightly overstated introduction.
Don't ever say that about yourself, Sumita. I always say people view you the way you view yourself. So don't ever understate yourself. Say it as it is. You are good. So you're good. So now let's.
Ma'am, when putting the slide out, it was like too difficult for me to choose which, because it was not fitting in my slide. All the papers, publications, I think it is 3 pages in Word. So one slide, it put in half of the slide of a presentation, ma'am. It is really difficult. So I'll go with Sunaina ma'am on that.
That's perfectly okay. You don't have to.
No, because see, we want to hear her live. That's more important. And basically, we are interested in her academic career, but we are interested in her as a person, because that's who I want to project to all the ladies, and not only the ladies. I think why shouldn't men be interested to hear about the ladies in ophthalmology? I hope they are. I hope they are listening in. If they are not, then they are missing out on something very special. So, Sumita, can we start from your childhood, which is what I usually do? How was it? Where was it spent?
My father was in a government service of Madhya Pradesh actually. He was a doctor, but he was on the administrative side. So he was like district malaria officer, then district health officer, then civil surgeon, then joint director health services.
Oh.
So probably the childhood was spent in a lot of small towns in MP.
Okay.
I have stayed in Balaghat.
Okay.
3 years. Then I have stayed in Gwalior for 5-6 years. Then I think most of my high school was in Indore. My medical college was also in Indore.
Okay.
And But yeah, longest actually I've stayed is Chennai. So Chennai is actually home now.
Yes, I think
So,
right
yeah,
from
but most of my childhood and up to my post graduation, everything was in various towns of MP. Starting
MP. So basically, you are from Madhya Pradesh.
in Madhya Pradesh. My family, my father's side of the family hails from Gwalior, and my mother's side hails from Indore. So, yes,
Okay.
so although we all speak Marathi at home, my surname is very much a Maharashtrian, but we are all MP positive.
Okay, MP positive. I
Yeah,
like that.
generations actually.
But the surname sounds Maharashtrian,
Yes,
Agarkar.
I do speak Marathi at home.
I know you do. I've
My
heard
mother
you speaking. But
Marathi.
are you Maharashtrians basically?
Yes,
No.
yes. We are Maharashtrians, but as I said, you both sides of my family, mothers as well as fathers, have been settled for at least couple of generations in.
In Maharashtra, in Madhya Pradesh, in Madhya Pradesh. Correct. So,
Actually, Indore and Gwalior both have a fairly large number of Maharashtrian population.
yeah, I think almost actually nowadays, I think every community is represented everywhere. We are
Yeah,
becoming more of a, what should I say,
but yeah, both
national.
these places actually were Maratha kingdoms, Holkars and
Huh, yes, that's true.
yeah,
That's
so,
true.
so they are like
Yeah. So, how were you in school? Very studious or naughty?
no, not great. I am very lazy. I'm very lazy. Last minute preparation, and I always thought, yeah, I always underperformed below my potential.
But then,
But yes, I no blame on anybody. All my
no, no, but you made it to medical college.
yes, I did. I knew how to crack the exams. Let's put it this way. I knew how to crack the entrance exams.
Okay. Yes, I think that also is a knack. Not everybody can do it.
And it's a different kind of prep which is required to crack the entrance exam. I'm,
Exactly.
I'm horrible in writing essay type questions and which requires a fair amount of grind.
But you're good at MCQs, I think.
I'm good at MCQs. I
And
can
then I
retain,
think,
I can retain bits of information which are very trivial, and I can bring it out at right moment.
no,
So
that's great. Because then you got your post
yeah,
graduation also.
I was very bad or anything, but I was middling. Let's put it this way. I was not
But,
really one of those toppers of the class or anything.
but you made it. You made it to where you are.
Yes,
So
but
that's all that matters in the end, I
yeah,
think.
once I'm interested in something, then I will go do everything what I can do to become
Yeah.
better. That is for sure. That's one of my qualities, pluses, if you can want to say, is that yes, if I want to get at something, I'm very determined about it.
That's a good quality to have. What made you take up ophthalm?
Actually, my first choice was pediatrics. It was not ophthalmology.
Okay. Okay.
I did not get that.
Okay.
My batch was the first in Madhya Pradesh to write actually pre-PG exam.
Okay.
So, as I said, I'm better at cracking MCQ exams. So, but yeah, not good enough to get pediatrics, which went in probably the first 20 ranks in it. So next choice was ophthalmology because I wanted a little bit of some surgery also. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I went to Arvind first time and I saw there was a choice of pediatric ophthalmology as a fellowship thing, and I jumped at it and I grabbed it. So that's it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So that's how you ended up becoming a pediatric ophthalmologist. But I think, what was your time at Arvind like?
Uh, Arvind was a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
I was going from it was a very different environment. Language was a problem. The people were different. And yes, but I would still rate those 2 years which I spent there from 96 to 98 as one of the best years of my life. I made some really good friends. I learned a lot. I learned not just pediatric ophthalmology, I learned ophthalmology. I gave my DNB exam during my fellowship, and I was able to pass that. So there was lessons in discipline, there was lessons in perseverance, there were lessons in pediatric ophthalmology. So it was a very, very fruitful time of my life, and I can never thank Arvind Eye Hospital enough to give that grounding in ophthalmology, which I probably needed, even though I had a MS degree with me, but still, the grounding in surgery, the grounding in clinical work, and as I said, several other life skills, which I learned from Dr. Nachyar and Dr. Vijay Lakshmi, who lived it. They were excellent mentors because they didn't expect anything different for themselves also. So if Dr. Nachyar wanted you to be in the hospital by 7, she was there at 6:45. So, or Dr. Vijay Lakshmi wanted you to see 40 patients, she was herself seeing 45 patients more than. It was, I can never thank
I think
them.
you were very lucky to get two such mentors who led by example, you know. Because
Actually, yeah, I mean, they were wonderful.
you know, the one grouse which most people have when they go to Arvind or Madurai, let's put it, especially when they go from the north or from Maharashtra, is the food. They say you get fed up of eating idli and dosa every day because North Indian food is very different, and I think especially if you're coming from Indore, that is considered as a foodie's delight. So how difficult was it for you to adjust to that, food wise?
No, I'm not a very fussy eater that way. I learned to appreciate South Indian food.
Okay, that's good.
And
Because
that was, as I said, there was so much going on in life at that time. I mean, so many other things that didn't worry about food.
that's good, because some people get fed up with that.
Yeah, I know there were people who used to really that. How can you eat beetroot puriyal every third day? But I ate it. It's okay.
See, I think to get something, you have to let go of something also.
I know. I don't know, but that part that never really bothered me. I'm being honest about here.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. See, everyone is not so much bothered about food. And basically, that was not the reason you went there, to taste their food. You had gone for your
Yeah,
fellowship.
I was very focused on what was my goal.
Yes. And I think that focus helped you get through those 2 years and appreciate those 2 years and learn a lot.
I really am. That was a very good time. I had a really wonderful time in Arvind.
I think
Staying alone for the first time, I was always a very protective and very child. There was a little bit of thing. Yes, we learned to navigate different things, learn to speak language, learn to. People used to make fun of the way you spoke Tamil, and there was always confusion about Kannadi, Pinnadi, and all the other things which was going on. But it was, I would never trade those 2 years. It was a very good time.
that is very obvious from the way you're speaking about it.
And the place which offered pediatric ophthalmology as a fellowship, it was a very competitive fellowship. There was a long waiting period for that also at that time also.
Okay.
I mean, at that time, Shankar Netralaya had a general ophthalmology fellowship. There was no pediatric ophthalmology fellowship anywhere in the country.
I know.
It was dedicated for pediatric ophthalmology. So,
because I think even LVP had
a cornea and I think only cornea fellowship.
Yes, I think because you're talking about 96.
There was no formal. I'm talking about 96, 97.
Yeah.
So at that time, the only place which offered a formal pediatric ophthalmology fellowship was only Arvind. Nowhere else.
But
And
I
that
think
was
you were.
Arvind, and probably they had just started Arvind Coimbatore fellowship, but that's about it.
Okay. So, but you did it in Madurai.
I did it.
Okay. So, how did you land up in Shankar Netralaya then? After that,
I was married to somebody who was a consultant there, so that was the natural
okay. And where did the
of
two?
Kshetralaya is MRF and Medical Research Foundation as well as Marriage Research Foundation, and at that time there were a lot of couples there who were working, and Dr. Surendran offered me a consultancy,
Okay.
and I was looking for a job. So that's how I landed up in Chennai. My
And
husband used to be a consultant there at Shubhanetralaya at that time.
he has specialized in what?
He did his fellowship also from Shankar Netralaya, but he did
Okay.
it in Ophthalmology, and he was their community ophthalmology wing head at that time.
Okay.
He was Dr. Ashok Rangarajan.
Okay. So you all met in Shankar Netralaya?
So we did our post graduation together in Raipur. He was all India candidate there. I was a state candidate.
Okay, okay. So that's how it happened. That's where it happened. Okay.
But we
So,
did trips in two different places.
but nice to hear that. Means
Yeah.
it started from Raipur
Yeah, it started from Raipur.
and then ended up in Chennai. But is he still with Shankar Netralaya or has he left?
No, he has left maybe almost 8-9 years back.
Okay. So what does he do now?
He is a private practitioner.
Okay, okay. Great.
He does cataracts, medical retina, and some amount of glaucoma.
Great. So now we would like to hear what he has to say about you. You've spoken about him. Let's hear what he has to say about you. It should be interesting. Anil, can we have the video, please?
Namaste. I am Dr. Ashok Rangarajan, and I have been asked to speak a few words about Dr. Sumita Agarkar, my wife, and more than wife, my best friend and confidant. And having lived with her for so many years, I can definitely say that I know her well. So, to give a brief few words, she is a straightforward, honest, self-determined, strong-willed, no-nonsense woman. And a lot of her straightforwardness and no-nonsense comes in her replies and opinions, whether it is family members, superiors, students, or even a stranger, sometimes to the point of being annoying. But this straightforwardness brings out the clarity in her mind and keeps her mind and conscience clear and speaks volumes of her as a person. So this aside, I find her a very passionate person as far as her profession is concerned. I know many years back there was a time when she had an option of moving away from the specialty, and especially the subspecialty, but she was so determined to do this specialty and subspecialty, which is pediatric ophthalmology, that shows in her work because she's so passionate about it. And what makes me admire her is that whether it is the first patient at the start of the day when one is fresh, or the last patient at the end of the day when one is generally tired, she's completely zoned in, and there will be no change in the concentration or the manner in which she will examine and discuss with the parents about the child when she's examining even the last patient of the day. So she's completely clued in at that point, and there is no distraction or deviation from the work that needs to be done. Similarly, what I admire is when she comes home, her role changes and she now becomes a homemaker, a wife, a mother, and she is completely aware of which homework has to be submitted of which child, and whether the fees has been paid or not, whether the child has come back from school, gone to the extra classes or not safely. Everything is happening, and sometimes even some guns are fired at me for being a very lenient parent. So I take that in my stride, and so this is the other role which she plays, and she loves to cook. She cooks for us all 3 meals in a day. She is a very innovative cook. She reads a lot. She's a voracious reader, not just her academic reading, she does a lot of other reading. And the other, I do not know how many of you all are aware, but she's a very strong.
What happened?
Namaste. I am
I
Dr.
think-
Ashok Nade. She is a very innovative cook. She reads a lot. She's a voracious reader. Not just her academic reading, she does a lot of other reading. And the other, I do not know how many of you all are aware, but she's a very strong.
I think there's some glitch. We'll let it go, Anil. We'll let it go. You can close the video. Okay. I think Dr. Ashok said children. I thought you had only one daughter.
No, I have two.
You have two daughters?
No, one daughter, one son.
Okay. So
Yeah.
then why didn't you tell me this before? Because I would have asked you to get his video also.
He would not make it, so I.
You were very sure that he would not. So what are both of them doing?
My daughter has just finished her architecture graduation, so she is now at the moment preparing for her masters. My son is in 12th.
Your son is?
In 12th.
Okay. Okay. So crucial year. Okay.
Yes.
But does he want to go your way or deviate?
He says at the moment that he wants to write NEET, but we'll have to wait and see. It's very
Yeah. We never know with children
Yeah.
which way they'll go eventually. But it's good that at the moment at least he's interested in medicine.
Yes.
So, because very often, like your daughter has chosen to take up architecture, I presume she was never interested.
Yeah, she was very clear. She did not know.
It's nice if they know their mind.
Yeah, and till now he says he wants to. We'll have to wait and see whether he gets it because it's very competitive now to get
Yeah,
into it.
that's true. You're right. So, let's hear it from your daughter now. Let's take her video, Anil. I want to hear what she has to say about you.
It's not very complimentary. That's all I can say.
That's okay.
My mother initially asked me to make a video about her in 30 seconds or so. I knew it would be like a Herculean task. There is no easy way to summarize either her or our relationship together. So, the thing is, she's just like every other Indian mother out there. She's strict. She has way too many rules. Some rules which are way too hard to follow. But the thing that is similar to other Indian mothers that matters the most to me is that she loves deeply. Even if she has the funny way of showing it sometimes. So I know that everything that she does, she has my best interest at heart. She thinks that that's the right decision, and I have learned to respect most of it. So so I know that, like, at the end of the day, like, if I have any actual genuine concerns or problems, she's the one that I'm always going to be able to tell it to, because she is one of my best friends, and there is like nothing nothing earth-shatteringly that is hidden away from her that she isn't aware about. Everything that I do, she's at least aware to a cellular degree what I'm up to, what I'm doing, what my thoughts are, what my ideas for the future are. So I know that I can trust her with anything that I have within me, and I know that she would understand. Even if she doesn't completely understand, she has a way of learning and growing. So yeah, I love my mom, and yes, that's it.
That was so cute. She's very cute, you know. I haven't seen your son, but
She means that I can now identify the Korean pop and identify the names of people who constitute BTS, things like that.
I think at a certain age, all children feel that their mothers are monsters who are there just put there just to trouble them. But as they grow older, now she's 20, you said. So now I think she's realized that whatever you did, and she mentioned that you love very deeply. And I think every mother does. So, and maybe, sometimes you are not a very demonstrative kind of mother. I know that I am not. I don't cling to my children. I have 3 sons, by the way. So, as it is, it's pointless to cling to them because boys hate it. But I've never done it also. So, that doesn't take away the fact that you love them. You don't have to be a cloying kind of mother to describe yourself as a loving mother. That is my definition. I feel if you're a mother, and you love your children, no matter how they are. So, and you don't need to justify it to anybody either.
I know I'm not a perfect mother. I have made a lot of
Who is? Tell me who is? Nobody is on this earth, I think. Nobody is a perfect mother. You learn on the go. Parenting is something you learn on the go. So, you aren't born with that knowledge, but your children teach you how to be a parent. I remember when my second son was going to have his first baby, he ordered books because he's an IT person. So he ordered books from the internet all about pregnancy and all about parenting. I told him, just junk those. They are not going to help you. The pregnancy will go as it wants to go, and so will your parenting. You will learn from your child how to manage him or her. Don't read about it. Because sometimes these IT people, they feel let's get in more knowledge as much as we can, and they don't believe in hands-on. So he was trying to do that. So I told him, don't. Just take it as it comes. And I think then he eventually did that. So there are no hard and fast rules about parenting, which I think one can follow. There is no handbook of parenting. You can be a draconian parent, you can be a very lenient parent, but you are a parent. So at the end of the day, you have the best interest of your child at heart, which is exactly what your daughter said. And I think she hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. She was very sweet. Tell her that from me. That I liked the way she spoke. I liked her. She's very cute.
Thank you.
She's cute just like you are. Just as cute as you are.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, she spoke the heart out actually. There is no
Yes.
pretense, there is no manipulation that she has to speak on a video for the mother. So I have to say that. Nothing like that. She really spoke what she feels about it.
She won't.
Yes,
I think she gets that trait
from
from
the
her mother because, as Dr. Ashok said, you are very straightforward. But
I think that was a backhanded compliment.
no, it was a compliment. It was a genuine compliment, not a backhanded one at all. See, he did say you can be annoying at times, but then frank and straightforward people can be. Not everybody knows how to take them because sometimes I have been told myself that you hit straight from the shoulder. So I said, that's the only way I know to talk. If it is in my mind, if it is in my heart, it's on my mouth. It's on my lips. It cannot stay.
Everybody who knows you are sure and know exactly where you are on this thing. So I always find it better that you tell what you are thinking rather than going diplomatically beating around the bush. I always
know.
thought from the hip. And
No, and another thing I always say is if I keep it in my head, then I am going to be troubled by it. Why should I increase my blood pressure? Let it come out so that I am free from it and I've told the other person what exactly I think. And some people do get hurt, I know that, especially at home. If you're a bit too blunt, it can be annoying to your family members, even to your colleagues. But that's the way we are, and I think we are not going to change now in any case. So, but I appreciate that fact that she also spoke straight from the heart, as Mitali said. She didn't say, goody things about you. She just said it the way it was. So, and that was exactly what we wanted, that your child should say what they feel about you as a mother. Because everyone knows Dr. Sumita Agarkar, the pediatric ophthalmologist. That is your public image. But this webinar is about you as a woman, as a mother, as a wife.
Actually, to be very frank, a lot of times my kids have got the worst of me. They have had to put up with some of the frustrations of work. They have had to bear the brunt of whatever has not gone right in the hospital, and so I mean, they have been part of my journey in many ways. And as I said earlier, also, yeah, not a sometimes my worst behavior is actually reserved for those two and my husband. That's that nobody sees that.
But
Everybody.
but that's true of everyone, Sumita. See, because we can be ourselves only with our family. Rest of the time when we are in public, to some extent at least we are on our best behavior. Because obviously you cannot shout at your patients, you cannot shout at your colleagues, or let your frustrations out in front of them. So the only place where you can unwind is at home, and then that has to come out. It is going to come out on your family. So that's, I think, part of it. That's part of the way we go about it. Because otherwise we are going to bottle it up, and then it's going to come out in a maybe more in a much worse way. So it's better to, I think every mother does that. I notice now that when something has happened with my daughter-in-law, she will be shouting at my granddaughter. So I remember my days when I would be shouting at my children because of something which happened either in the hospital or at home, maybe with my in-laws, and I would be so frustrated that I would take it out on them. Because who else will you take it out on other than your husband and your children? They are the only people you can really let it out on. So that's perfectly all right. I think it doesn't mean that you are a bad mother or you're a bad wife.
Yeah,
No.
I'm just saying that probably, as I said, this is my story, or my is probably reflects a lot of women who have careers and have also want to do everything.
Yes.
This is the
Absolutely.
story for almost every one of them. I'm nothing
Absolutely, ma'am.
extraordinary
Absolutely.
about it, because men never get it, because they never have to make those decisions ever. They are never expected, or they are never called upon to do those decisions. Nobody asks them, are you going to choose career or family? Are you going to have this or that? These kind of
I,
choices are only for women.
yes. Absolutely.
Small, and you don't have daycare, you don't have a help to that choice is always on women. Do you want to really have a career, or do you want to keep the young kid at home alone with the maid, or things like that?
Absolutely.
And to have careers, you need a support system of lot of ecosystem of lot of help around you in form of either your in-laws or parents or reliable maids, or very helpful colleagues, and sometimes a whole lot of girlfriends which you have around, and so men are never called upon to take that decisions.
Absolutely.
Women, when they have careers, they end up requiring a whole ecosystem around them, and that is very important. I feel ki sometimes when women say ki I made it, or I made it myself,
No.
how many people were there
No.
with you who were not in the
Yes, who haven't come in the limelight, but they have been there in the shadows, supporting you, helping you go forward. No woman can do it on her own, It's wrong to say that.
not even wrong. And some of the time your other support system never gets the kind of credit which they should get.
Absolutely.
I'll just give you one example. People know Dr. Badrinath as very able administrator and a very visionary ophthalmologist. He was all that. He had leadership qualities. But if you ask me, what did he do? I would think the most visionary thing he did was to have a daycare in the hospital for the consultants, which which allowed people like me or several others to have not just jobs but careers.
Yes.
You
Yes.
could devote that. So yeah, he did all of that. He grew that Shankanetralaya from a 6 bedded hospital to today what it is. But if you ask me, the single most thing which changed my life was to have the daycare inside the hospital.
Seriously, seriously.
Reliable
And
health. So it was his and Mrs. Badrinath's dream child there to have that daycare facility. And it's not just me. Several consultants, several of my colleagues are so eternally thankful for that small gesture which they extended towards women in the organization. Ki, have a daycare. We will take care of the employing the maids. We will monitor the maids. We will monitor that the kids are gone to school with a small vehicle from the hospital. We have insured you to have a pickup facility from the school. So my kids have actually literally grown up in Shankar Netralaya because I used to bring them at 8 o'clock. Yeah, he was a hard taskmaster. I remember carrying 2 bags of food and every day, and kids and arriving at hospital at 7:55 and leaving at whatever time. And kids used to have practically grown up and spent 8 or 9 hours of their lives every day along with me in essence. But only thing is, yes, the creche was Mrs. Badrinath's. She was in charge of creche, so you knew that kids will be taken care of. They will be picked up from school. They will be dropped at school. They will be given bath after they come back from school. You didn't have to worry about that as long as you were working. You were seeing patients.
no, but I think that's a wonderful initiative. Wonderful initiative that they took.
Yeah. So it was. It's a very small gesture.
Yes.
It is never comes in that in several achievements of Dr. Badrinath.
Yes, I've never heard about it before.
Yeah, but to us, not only me, Dr. Muna Bhende, Dr. Lakshmi Mahesh, Dr. Parveen Sen, so many of us, Dr. Sujata. I mean, we all had careers because of that daycare facility. We didn't have jobs. We were not running around just seeing patients and somehow exiting in time. We could have fulfilling careers because of a small part of our life which is very important for women, is taken care of.
Seriously. I can totally relate with that because, my second daughter-in-law is an engineer. So she was working with Infosys before she left India and went to the US. And I know that Infosys also has a daycare for its female workers where they can bring their children, keep them. And I had liked the idea so much. I felt that is a very nice gesture on the part of the employer to think that the female colleagues or workers who are in their organization will need that kind of support system, and that's a very important support system to have. As you said, your children practically grew up there. If that hadn't been there, imagine how much running around you would have had to do, dropping them to a creche, daycare first, then coming to the hospital, then thinking about whether they are being taken care of or not. Here you were confident that they were being looked after well. You had no qualms about leaving them there. So such a wonderful gesture, I think.
Yeah, it's a small thing to do, but
it meant so much to all of you.
it meant so much, and that to work without any worry.
Yes.
And even if you felt the child was sick and got them, sometimes you hear, you go across the building and just take a look and back, and I can't thank them both enough for that small thing.
No, truly.
Yeah, your journey would have been incomplete I might have been forced to leave because I didn't have that at home
Quite.
to the children there.
I agree with you. You need that support system. Uh, Maybe it could be your in laws, your own parents, your husband. Even your husband is your biggest support system sometimes. Though at times they tend to get on your nerves. But, but still, Mitali is laughing. But I agree with that you need that support system. And I remember once I was giving a talk at Sholapur in a MOS conference, and it was about challenges as a woman leader. So the first thing I objected to was the word woman leader. I said, why couldn't you have just put it as challenges as a leader? Women are leaders, so you have to segregate them from men. Men can be leaders without that men leaders. But why put as a woman leader? Why did you put that word in there? You could just have asked me challenges as a leader. I am a leader regardless of my gender. So then in that talk, I had put one slide. Ki, behind every woman stands a bai, a maid. So, and I had shown a picture of a maid dusting the house, and they all started, the audience started laughing. I said, yes, you were expecting me to say husband, I know, but it is because my maid is there working at home, keeping my house neat and clean, cooking meals for my family, that today I'm standing here in front of you and giving this talk. Otherwise, I probably would have been at home cooking for the family. So it's very important to have that support system also, by way of your staff, the maids you employ, how to make them stick to you and not let go of them if they are good. So it all adds up. I don't think you can just say one person. It's a whole lot of people.
Yeah. There is a whole lot of ecosystem. As I said, you could have family, you can have reliable help at home. Sometimes sometimes they are like your family, and of course husband, and also your colleagues. Sometimes.
Yes.
I mean, we have lot of women consultants in SN Shankar Netralaya now, and in fact, men are becoming rarer and rarer people who join institutes.
Okay.
But I have enjoyed the companionship, the help, the mentorship of so many of my colleagues not just in my department, but across the boundaries of departments also.
Yes.
I remember first 5 or 8 years of my work, I was so busy in clinical work and all that, I never published anything. In first 8 years, almost of my starting work to consultancy, 8 or 10 years, I think. Yeah, I was doing prodigious amount of clinical work. I was very busy clinically. I did a phenomenal amount of surgery, so phenomenal number of patients, but I did not. And the push for the publication came but from Dr. Vijaya. She says you must publish. You cannot not publish. Otherwise, there is no point in doing all this clinical work. And she's a glaucoma person. She's not even my department, but we operate together. We are on the same things. So she has stood by me in the initial parts of my. Sometimes if I had my some problem during surgery and all, she would come to help me. She will scrub immediately with me, and I mean, just to have her around in that same theater, I might have probably my tears she must have actually come out and bailed me out for probably 5 times or 6 times in all these 20 years that we have operated together. But just the fact that I could summon her at a
She was there for you. She was there for you.
Or someone other person also. I would not say only Dr. Vijaya.
Yeah, of course.
But everybody. But to have that colleagues' companionship has also played a very, very big part in my journey to wherever I am today. And I hope each of us does that for the other.
Yes. Yes,
And
true.
yeah, and that's the only way to you can give back what you receive from people is to do the same thing for the other people. So,
I
some,
totally agree. Totally agree. Be-
yeah,
Because I feel as a senior, it is your duty. It is you're morally bound to help out your juniors because you have the experience. You know some things better than they do. You know how to navigate through certain things, and whether it is operative work or their personal life, if they come to you with a problem, then you should listen and help out if you're senior to them. That I feel is my duty in Aurangabad at least,
yeah,
because I cherish my Aurangabad Ophthalmological Association a lot, both the boys and the girls. I'm not saying I'm prejudiced only towards the girls, but I'm one of the senior most ophthalmologists in Aurangabad, and I like that role. I like being in that position where they give me so much of respect. They come to me with their problems. It's a great feeling, as you said, it's a way of giving back what you have received from your seniors. I had some wonderful seniors in Nagpur. I know I'm basically from Nagpur, so I had some very terrific seniors like Dr. Dua was my immediate senior, Dr. Harminder Dua, so and Dr. Sulabha Deshpande, and they mentored us so well, and they were so helpful along the way. So somehow that thing stuck, that you need to give back what you have received. And you're so right that if now in your position you can give back to some younger female colleague what you got, maybe from Dr. Vijaya or from someone else, so that is a fitting way of giving it back.
yeah.
I
Sometimes,
absolutely agree.
sometimes I mean, she has been very proactive in pushing people to do better, do this,
Yes,
do more, and I feel very thankful to have all these people around me. Uh,
yes,
my boss, Dr. Surendran, I mean, he's an amazing person.
yes,
He has been let you grow at your own. I won't say just women. Dr. Surendran is a big role model. He is never really one of those harsh words or anything. Never ever let you grow at your own pace, at your own speed. I mean,
he's,
without yeah, I mean,
I think there are no words to describe
no
him.
words to describe him. I mean, these are just the blessings. That's all.
Yes,
To have a
he,
boss who is so kind and so
yes, yes, you were blessed. I think you were
yeah.
blessed.
And a lot of people ask me, how do you do pediatric ophthalmology outside? There are no referrals. There are. I always feel that my perspective about somebody who is sitting outside is very different because for me, I'm always a part of a big brand name, and a lot of times patients are far more receptive to what I tell them compared to somebody who is sitting in a small 1% clinic. And life is really tough outside outside the institutes. But I always feel, I always tell the younger girls who are taking pediatric ophthalmology, no, but you should not fall for that thing about saying, okay, I'm going to die. Always be truthful about what the patient has. There's no point in saying you don't need glasses or you do this.
Yes,
So if you see accommodative esotropia, don't hesitate to write that +8 glasses, even though it is +8 and my patient is likely to might run away. Don't give +4 and then start. So
hmm.
I mean, but yes, my perspective is of a very very different. I think
Because you are in an institution, because
people
you are there.
who are outside.
Well, I'm outside, so I can
First,
say
wins the patient. I
yes, it's very different. The two things are very different because I have worked in an institution, but it was not, I wasn't doing only pediatric ophthalmology there. But here you are in an institution where you're doing only your subspecialty, in fact. And as you said, it is tough for one woman practitioner to maybe say it like it is, but then you have to, because if you're not truthful with your patients, one day or the other your patient is going to come to know. I have always followed that principle in my life, that don't be dishonest with your patient, because if you do that, you are going to lose him for sure. If not today, tomorrow. And also I believe in being a lambi race का घोड़ा, मतलब शॉर्टकट नहीं मारना है.
Pediatric ophthalmology तो automatically लंबी रेस ही हो जाता है कि
I know, yes.
patient is not going to run away.
But some people, I mean, I have seen some
They are
people.
your patient, they are your patient for at least 18 years.
You have to have a lot of patience for pediatric ophthalmology, because you're dealing with small kids, and also counseling their parents who are, upset sometimes to find out, like high myopia. The parents are so upset. You have to counsel them. You have to guide them through that maze. And then amblyopia. I remember one parent coming and telling me, nobody told me this about my child before. He cannot see properly from one eye. Why? I said, I don't have the answer to that. But I'm telling you now, this is what he's got. We call it a lazy eye, but it is treatable. So he said, but why couldn't the original doctor have told me who I went to? I said, as I said, I don't have an answer to that. How can I answer for someone else? But you should do your best. And when patients ask me for a guarantee, especially squint patients, always the parents will ask you, 100% guarantee hai kya madam ki theek ho jayega? I tell them, nahi. There is no 100% guarantee. In life also there isn't. All I can say is I will do my best, and that is the most I can do. That is all I can do. You have to take that, accept that, and then we go forward. So I think to a large extent, Sumita, I think your views and my views match a lot, because maybe I've never been the commercial kind of practitioner, even though I'm in practice, but maybe my years of being in service never rubbed off. I was in government service for 15 years before I started my own practice. So that never totally went away. So you cannot be dishonest with the patient, because it's going to rebound on you.
Almost usually follow. Yeah, I think there is very important to be as truthful as possible with the patient and with the parents.
Yes.
They may or may not like your ways of saying things, or they will. One of my patients, it was one of the time when I was a little younger, and he asked me about some bowl of carrot in glasses, and I probably little harshly told him that if carrots had such magic thing, they won't be selling at 40 rupees kg. He did not like it. But he was honest enough to next time he came for follow-up, but did tell me, madam, आपने ऐसे बोला, हमें अच्छा नहीं लगा.
But at least he told you that.
Told me, and he came for follow-up, but these are the lessons you learn, Joki. Sometimes probably it's better to be a little diplomatic or little softer. You don't lose anything by that either.
Yes, but I think as you said, when you're younger, you don't have that much patience, and you just say it like it is because you feel
the patients don't realize how many times in a day you answer that same question. And
exactly.
Sometimes you will reach a break point and just blurt out whatever.
I know.
And for him, it's a very emotive issue he's asking.
Yes.
But I'm really glad that he came and told me straight away that he did not like the way I answered it.
I think this kind of feedback is also important for us to grow as a clinician. To know how to talk to your patients is also an art, which they don't teach you in medical colleges. Believe me, you learn that on your own. You learn that when you go out there and start dealing with them. And particularly in private practice, it is one-to-one. There are no residents in between. There's nobody between you and the patient. It's just you and the patient. And you have to answer all their questions even if they're silly ones. Once one patient of mine came and asked me, I've heard that magnetotherapy works for reducing the minus number. Yeah, I was thinking in my head, what do I tell this guy? And what way do I have of telling him ki it is nonsense? I didn't want to put it so bluntly. So then I told them ki I've never done it, I've never tried it. You try it, and if it works, come back and tell me, and I'll recommend it to my patients. I thought I was being very diplomatic that day because I didn't outright tell them, go to hell. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I
In
would have
fact,
been confident.
no, in fact, you won't believe my own son. He had a high number, and he ordered magnets. I told him, "Are you mad? Your mother is an ophthalmologist, and you're ordering magnets." He said, "मेरा number कम करने के लिए." I said, "You got to be crazy." I made him put them away. I said, "Nothing doing. You're not using them." कुछ भी. So sometimes you face these problems at home also.
Ma'am, I have few queries. Sorry, I'm deviating you from the current topic.
No,
Because
no,
your
no.
mother, I need to ask because I have a pediatric ophthalmologist readily available to me. So, ma'am, see, now we see lots of those myopic pediatric patients are coming in. Like we are doing now the school programs with the company where you go to the school and with the free testing for the kids, like every age group, and we are finding the testing rates for A class cities are going beyond like 17% myopia, and B class city little lesser, like 15%. So is it like before? Is it gone up, ma'am, after COVID? And what can be the reason? Because you must be seeing lots of patients these days.
Yes, it's going up all over the world, not just India, everywhere. And it's a little problem, really problem in Southeast Asia. But in India also it is showing very rapid change, and we are expecting to touch 45% by 2050. In other minds also, COVID has probably just made it pull back the deadline from 2050 to 2040.
Yeah.
Because our lifestyles are changing. Our children are using too many good handheld gadgets. We don't have any outdoor time. We don't. We have lead very. All the entertainment is on the screen, and all of the. It is multifactorial rather. It can be due to several reasons, but definitely our genetics has not changed that dramatically in 30 years. But myopia has definitely gone from 6% in 2013, 23, 2003 to now it is touching 18 in urban population in any case in the latest surveys. And if you look at the private schools, quoting our hospital school screening data, if you look at government school, it's still around 14 to 18%. But if you look at private schools, it's already touching 25 to 30%. Children are coming from more affluent families. So yeah, myopia definitely role to play with higher educational level, higher income level, and of course, yeah, genetic background does definitely play.
Ma'am, if a child of like 4 years of age has a eye of, the vision of 6/12, is it any chances that it will correct during the course of time, or he has to wear the glasses all the time?
Has to wear.
Throughout the life.
You have to first say why he has that 6/12 vision.
Maybe digital. It is not genetic, but
no. But does yeah. So first you have to establish the reason for 6/12. It's not necessarily always refractive error. So refractive error, unless you have checked for it, then only you can say that 6/12 is because of the refractive error. Don't assume that 6/12 is. Sometimes children are 6/12 without any reason also. They just don't tell the last two lines.
Yeah. And
so
sometimes
without a comprehensive eye examination, you can't say the reason what you're going to do next.
Yeah, ma'am, because you can read only first 3 lines, like first 3 big lines. Then after that, you can't read. So It's like we have just tested and put the glasses. Just I'm asking.
3 lines is definitely needs a checkup, needs dilatation. Exactly.
Yes. Are you talking about your son, Mitali?
Yes.
No, but sometimes children of his age cannot read isolated letters. Like they are in school, they are taught to read A, B, C, D, but he's just 4. So has he started reading yet? Already?
Yes, ma'am. He has started from 2. He started.
Okay, my
But
God.
they go to school very early. That is also one reason.
Huh, that's. I think, yes. Why did you put him in school at 2?
I mean, the age they don't allow. Otherwise, like he just in junior KG right now. Yeah,
No,
but he can. I mean, he is good at reading. I mean, that way he knows letters and all. But when he examination, we did the dilation and all. He could not read after 3 lines. Like he says, I can't see anything. I
no,
can't see. I mean,
then as Sumita has said, he needs a thorough checkup with dilatation, retinoscopy, everything. Because only 3 lines, reading only 3 lines is not good. I mean, to be honest, he needs a detailed checkup because he should be reading more than that.
thank you, ma'am.
Maybe sometimes, Mitali, it can be due to their unfamiliarity with the doctor also, and a slight shyness, or they need a bit of coaxing to come out and read. Sometimes in front of parents, na, they become very conscious. So then they
I
don't read.
could
That is another factor.
I can reconnect. I'm gonna connect to ma'am on this. This managing a child is very difficult. But no, you have to make them read is a difficult thing because I mean I could see the doctor was really struggling to tell him that please read. He says he's only
Yes.
saying, I
Yes.
know this letter. Why should I read? I know
You
this
know,
letter.
you probably did not take him to the pediatric ophthalmologist. We never worry about 624. It's okay. As long as 624 both eyes, you don't have to worry. If it is 624 in one eye and 618 in the other, then we will start worrying.
That's a very
I would rule out, even irrespective of what child is reading, I will rule out the full examination without retinoscopy, without looking at the retina and optica. You really can't say 620. Yeah,
right,
if
right, ma'am.
it is okay, then you can say okay, child is does not want to read it. So it's okay. That's also fine.
No, but take him to a pediatric ophthalmologist.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
In Bombay, you have so many. So go to a reliable person, and
Yes.
I'm sure he'll be fine. Even if he does have something, this is the best age to find it out. It's a good age to find it out. The earlier, the better.
He's a COVID born time. He's born 2018. Suddenly after that, by the time he's 1 year, 1.5 year, just COVID and we're work from home, and you want to space like we want to keep a laptop and work, so give the mobile and let him busy there. So that's
Ah,
how like things. I don't know, must be that I as a layman like I can guess that much,
no, it
but
is quite possible. Yes.
ma'am, as ma'am rightly said about this 18% and 17%, we have seen around 6,000 children Rajan date in 40 schools. And exactly the same figure ma'am has come like little metro city, like all the capital cities of all the states, like there the good schools like Podar and all kind of, where the numbers going beyond 18. And so average it is coming beyond 17, but little like interior, like the Odisha, the interior parts is coming below 15, like 14, 15, like that. So
because
I
they
mean, it was like
because they don't have access to so many devices, whereas the private school children have affluent parents, as Sumita said, who can give them devices of their own.
No,
Children of your child's age have their own devices.
yes, yes,
Yes,
COVID
Sumita.
has been a little bit of an equalizer in the sense that sometimes this youngest children are end up with online class on mobile because
yeah,
how many laptops the family will have at home? Both parents
Exactly.
on laptops. Older child probably has a tab, and youngest child is on
mobile.
mobile.
True, ma'am.
So,
True.
and in the poorer families, the only internet-enabled device which allowed some kind of education was mobile phone.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
This
Yes.
is
Most of the families they like can afford a mobile. Maximum they can.
yeah, only internet enabled device for any lot of poor families is only mobile.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
that's why during the corona period, I think lot of the lower strata children missed out on a lot of education. They missed out on probably almost 2 years of education because sometimes because of this very problem, lack of access to the internet. Because if you have three children studying, who will you give priority to? Obviously the eldest one, who's in a higher class. So the younger one gets left out. So but anyway,
Even even those families where like the people are not into IT or like a marketing kind of setup where you need laptop. Well, every family they don't have laptops, right?
no,
If somebody in the government sector, in your like administrative sector, they don't need a laptop. Even though they're good, they can. I mean, they cannot afford buying like 40,000-50,000 a laptop. You have to buy. You're very rightly stating, ma'am.
no,
So
that's
nice,
correct.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Actually, it is soothing to hear from Dr. Sumita that you can, I know, up to it is 6:24. Don't be worried. I'm so worried. I cannot tell you. But I'll again give you a thorough checkup, man. And I'll get back to you on
No,
that.
no, no. I'm not at all saying don't worry. I'm saying have it checked.
Have it checked. She's not saying don't worry.
I'll check it up, ma'am. As I said, I'll come back to you and I'll take your opinion as well with his prescription and all
I'm not
that.
saying don't have it checked. I'm certainly
Okay, to wind up, Sumita, what would be your message to the younger women ophthalmologists who are building their career right now?
be yourself. Be have a support group of, especially the girls. Have a support group of different kinds of people in your ecosystem who are pushing you for different things. And especially for women, it's very important to have this whole ring of people who are around them and who can inspire them for different things, not just this. And and I definitely want a lot of younger women to also play roles which are leadership roles, which are administrative roles, and not just be happy with just saying, "Yeah, I'm a part of a cog in the machine." I think we should be aspiring to be in the driving positions.
Yes.
And it's very important for women to be in driving positions because they should definitely. A lot of times we all, as a general rule, we hesitate to take posts. We hesitate to take because it involves staying back after hours and stuff. But I think that is not right. If there are so many women in the workforce, we should be setting the agenda
Yes.
far more than what we do at the moment.
Absolutely correct.
So whether it is state societies or your organizational admin committees or admin roles, I think women are a little bit hesitant to take the admin roles. But I think as doctors, we should take admin roles also, because I think nobody sees the medicine the way we do.
Yes.
So I think we should never think that it is somebody else's job to do the admin roles. So I think admin, finance, women, not even women, just a lot of times doctors themselves just have a little bit of a disinterest in that. I think we should have more active role. If you are playing a part in the organization story, you should probably be in the driving seats also.
Quite correct.
And women more so.
Pardon?
I said women more so.
Yes. More power to women. I always say that. I also believe that women help each other. They should help each other. Instead of opposing each other or trying to pull other women down. If you become a support for others, it gets back to you in one form or the other. Kindness goes around. I think you give it out, it comes back to you. So you're going to benefit.
Yeah, you should have a whole lot of people, different types of people who have pushed you for different things.
Yes, but at the same time, you should always also have some people who are your critics, who are criticizing you, who are always trying to pull you down, because they probably inspire you to do better, to prove them wrong.
you will automatically have. You don't have to look for them.
You don't have to look for them. Because if you are good, I think you are automatically going to have those kind of people in your circle.
There are
So
people whom you should be able to have fun with.
yes,
There should be people whom you can make fun of.
yes, both. I tot- I
Yeah.
absolutely agree with you. This has been a
Well, yeah, a lot of the camaraderie is very, very important. I always feel that a lot of your joy of your work comes through the camaraderie. Because these experiences very difficult for anybody else to feel. You only your colleagues will know what you're feeling. The day you have or you're not able to place IUL, only another ophthalmologist can feel that intensity of grief which you have. Nobody else.
nobody else can.
Yeah. So
I
I
am
think
with
it's
you
very
on that,
have you
100%.
to have your friends around.
So it's been a wonderful interview, Sumita. Thank you so much for
Thank,
cooperating with us.
thank you for giving me this opportunity to shoot my foot in my mouth.
Not at all. We enjoyed it a lot. And see, Mitali also got to ask you something important, which was important for her. So we have all benefited in some way or the other. And you know that I have always admired you as a pediatric ophthalmologist. I've come to you when I needed help with one of my relatives, and you were so helpful for us. So it was a pleasure having you today.
Yeah, so ma'am,
And
before you close, I'll take 1 minute of your time to showcase my company, which is Center Pharmaceuticals. And we always say that is a Triveni of quality, science, and ethics. So, in that line, I'll request Dinesh to play the video, please.
Thank
yes.
you for taking the survey of children. Children are
Centaur
otherwise.
has global footprints in 126 countries. Centaur is fourth largest pharmaceutical company in ophthalmological prescriptions. Centaur Pharmaceuticals has leveraged synergies from its fully integrated operations by conducting clinical trials and manufacturing the API. Our 50-bedded CRO, manufacturing plants, and R&D facilities are successfully completed 25 stringent global regulatory inspections, including 15 by US FDA. All US FDA inspections that happened in recent past in 2019 had NIL 483 observations, a rare feat in itself. We have global accreditations from stringent regulatory authorities including US FDA, UK MHRA and ANSM France. Our Ocupol range is the #1 brand in ophthalmic anti-infective prescriptions. Centaur has complete presence in ophthalmology covering all therapies. In anti-infective range, Ocupol, Ocupol DX, Centiflox. In anti-allergic range, Ocurest, Ocurest AH, Ocurest Plus, Beforest. In dry eye range, Heal Tears, Relube, Relube DS. In anti-glaucoma range, Brimopress T, Brimopress LS, Glucotim LA,
and Travacta.
ARMD, Ocublis. And NSAID, Napacint.
Centaur is proud to introducing yet another quality product in kids' eye health. i7 Kid Gummy. Protect young eyes from blue light hazard with 7 vital ingredients for optimal eye health.
Centaur has successful journey in ophthalmology for more than 30 years and counting. Eyes are beautiful. You keep them so. Centaur commits support. Thank you.
So thank you, Sumita, once again, and thank you, Mitali.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am was asking about something, survey or something. The video started that time.
No, I was saying thank you for your company to take a survey of children and all. Very little of budgets of companies go for pediatric care. So thank you. that you
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, our mission is to conduct at least, cover at least 10,000 schools, and by like 1 to 2 years was the mission what we have taken. Because this schools, normally we prefer government schools where the eye checkup facilities are not there. Otherwise, most of the big schools like DPS and all, they have something or the other attachment. But those poor schools, they don't have. So we are trying to cover them, and at least they will know that what the problem. Then they can contact the doctors as per their study. So most of the doctors are now showing their interest to be a part of this noble cause. So thanks to all the doctors who were a part of it, ma'am, and the doctors like you who inspired them definitely. Thank you so much for joining a Center Forum, ma'am, in extraordinary, in the true sense, and thank you so much for giving your time.
Okay, bye. Good night,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you.
Good night, ma'am.
Recording stopped.